Congratulations on your admit to ISB.
Thank you. Thank you.
Your profile is very unique and there are so many things to talk about. We would like to hear from you about your work experience, and you are going in for the second MBA. So this background itself, it's a big question. Everybody who's looking at the second MBA has so many questions. So we are looking at the answers from you now. So please tell us about your background, your profile.
I did my BTech in computer science. That's from Hyderabad in 2014. Later then, I got onto a startup. For a couple of years with the computer science background, I got in startup. And after that, I started along with my family a business for 2.5 years. I wanted to get into the entrepreneurial venture side also to get exposure from that side as well. Maybe 2.5 to 3 years, I was focusing on the business. After that, I really wanted to get into an MBA side also, get exposed to, all side of the management angles. So I did my MBA from ICFI Business School, and that into banking and financial background specialization. Post that, while I was at my MBA also, I started to freelance at an EV venture that was also a EV startup. My primary motive was to apply what I learned at the EV venture, more of an internship. So, but practical internship, what you don't really get and real MBA is practical side of learning. So that I wanted to explore while I was still studying at my first MBA. And post that, I got into Deloitte, and I am working as a senior consultant at Deloitte since three years. Into IT audit, where we focus on making the technology safer for different companies. That is one part of my work experience. And that is where I started to focus on, I need to get onto a different angle, that is the strategy side, because all of my previous work experience was somewhere into strategy, but not really going into strategy. So that is where I felt a gap. And that's how the idea of a second MBA started. And it came to the ISB. And finally landed up at ISB. That is a bit of my background.
Yeah. And what are the triggers, for somebody who's already had an MBA? Now, we understand that this is a traditional MBA, which is a 2-year MBA program, which is very prevalent in India. So what is the trigger when you decide that, okay, I've had this much experience, now I want to look at a second MBA?
The most important factor when you go for a second MBA after you had a traditional MBA is what you'll specifically what from it. Like many people go to a 2-year MBA, and many people shift their specializations after some point of time. After 2 or 3 SIMs, they shift their specialization according to the market trends because they're not still decided. You've been through with the 2-year traditional MBA. Now what you want is something specific, so that you can target out of a 1-year MBA and make your whole goal at it. So you're already focused. What you want is already known. You already know why you're going there. So that is what the trigger is, and that is the spike of you're already focused on what you want to realize from the second learning. When that is very clear, this helps. When that is still to be decided, I don't think this would be a factor. But you're very pinpointed towards one point of learning. This is very specific. That too, 1-year MBA helps. That is what I feel.
My next question, how did you select? You were very focused that you only wanted to apply to ISB and only wanted to, get the MBA at ISB. So what were the criteria that were important for you?
Yeah, first criteria is I am truly, focused to work in India. In India, I looked about, 1-year MBAs. ISB is on the top of the list because the flagship of ISB is only 1-year MBA. So I really know what I was missing and what I really want and what the second MBA should be offering. So that's how I, jotted down to ISB. It's also top on everybody's list. But 1-year MBA is like, pinpointed what you really want from it. Only then it might be useful, because 2 years syllabus crammed up into 1 year, it might be tough going forward, but as you really know what you want, that should make the course easier.
Correct. And in terms of the GRE score, your GRE is close to exemplary. Share your tips on first, how long was the GRE preparation journey, and what are the tips and strategies that worked?
I didn't really focus on, whether I should be choosing GRE or GMAT. There are two things when I finally decided on I should be taking the GRE. First one is the pattern of the GMAT versus the GRE. Because, you just can't skip questions. That is one of the biggest advantage for me, because you're wasting time in one point of question. If you don't really get it, the other questions might be impacted. The second was, the sections, the timing and everything. That really helped me while going forward with the GRE. When I was giving my GMAT marks, I was getting close to 700, 720, but even sometimes I was dropping down to 690 also. So there's a bit of range in getting the average scores. So, but in GRE, I was consistently scoring about 330. in mocks also. So I thought I should be going ahead with GRE and make it my primary focus. So that's how I jotted on GRE front. The timing, first one, and the second one is the pattern of the exam. So that those are 2 points that help me in finalizing whether I should be taking the GRE or the GMAT. I got 333 on GRE, perfect quant 170 and 163 on the verbal. So what I planned really worked out in the end as well. So that's how I came down to the GRE.
Yes, and about tips and strategies for preparation, those who are planning to prepare or are already struggling with the preparation, what all would be some things that can help them out?
I really feel everyone's story is different. Some might be scoring good on GRE, one on GMAT, but timing is most important for either of the students. Once you focus on the timing, maybe on the accuracy front as well, once you get a hold of this, you will be scoring great. So maybe timing factor in the proctored examination would bring down students' ability to score high. Because the mocks are all, unproctored. Some might go here and there in timing, but in the real exam, timing plays a crucial role. Whether the decision making, whether you want to spend more time on one particular question or you want to skip this, that plays a huge role. So once you get a hold of that part of the segment in the exam, everything will work out. So, whether you to leave the question or not, that one has to decide. Maybe that would really help.
And also, when you have a high GRE score, or maybe just throughout your whole experience, how important do you think, like we suggest that the GRE or the test score is one part, the second is application, third is interview. And all these three parts are equally important when you are, putting up a strong application. So what are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely, because I've seen my friends also getting, more than 335 in GRE and still getting rejected, not even waitlisted. So I really think this is only 1/3 of the weightage, because those two even play an equally role in this. Colleges like ISB look at your application as a whole. So whether you get 340 out of 340 also doesn't matter when your application is on an average side when you compare that to the pool of the applicants. That also can be compensated with the help of an application and the interview. But the more the better. That's it. Because, but doesn't really guarantee your admission if you told you get a perfect 800 on a GMAT or 340 on a GRE. It just higher your chances. It can be really compensated with the help of an application or interviews or essays and everything. Your story is also equally important while presenting yourself.
So that brings us to the next part of the discussion about the applications. How did you work on your personal brand? You've been involved in a lot of activities. You had entrepreneurship, an equally strong story in the freelancing that you were doing and your work experience. So how did you balance it out?
I personally felt that aligning my goals with what the school promotes is equally important. If you tend to match those, your story will be, one of the best stories the AdCom will be receiving. So ISB's unique thing is like they promote diversity factor. So I wanted to, promote my diversity equally with what the school wants. So that was my personal brand in going forward. So I brought all the big things or good things that I did while I was an entrepreneur or as a freelancing in an EV firm, along with my Deloitte experience. So that really helped, establish a bridge between what the school really wants and what I was offering. So that was the balance. So if at all one really needs to look his application, he also needs to make a research about what the school really wants about all the talent pool that they tend to get in. Some schools like IMs, they focus more on CAT rather than the application. Schools like ISB give a more weightage to application rather than the GRE. So according to what the school really wants, if you try to build your profile or balance that would great, make your chances better. The balance that we try to bring, that was in accordance to what the school really wants. What the school really wants is leadership activities or diversity. They all try to bring those attributes in form of those essays. So that really helped while portraying myself as an applicant. So that is a key factor. What the school really wants, that you should be able to portray in your essay. In that way, you can show the personal brand of yourself.
Right, and there is a lot of pre-preparation that goes into choosing the stories. The essays they have a very limited word limit, so you have to put in that thought.
It goes n number of iterations while churning out your essays to the final version. But luckily, ISB has given out this optional essay this year, so maybe that can be helped. Writing your goals in beforehand. That is optional, right? But beforehand, if we tend to write out, you get another 200-word essay to adjust your goals also. So, but before that, the essay preparation should be more of specialized, specific. People who got admitted would be, their essays would be good. So if you try to edit the rest of the part using chat GPTs, this would be fine, but you will be caught. At least should be caught in interview, because the interview is so specific. They would just pick up any random line and the whole 40 minutes or 1 hour would just go on that interview, on that one particular line. So the essay part should be so confident that you should be, you are in that shoes, you're telling your story, you're passively telling your story, because when they read your essays, you're literally in front of them, and that those lines should be, representative of what you wrote. So I feel essay is so specific that plays a key role in getting your admit.
Absolutely. And what about the interview experience? What was the interview like, and what is a good preparation that goes into the interview?
ISB used to, have this thing, casual talks or, understanding each other. But I think that was a thing of the past. Now they just shit the gun, just throw all the thing. They don't even have the time to introduce yourself. It's like tell about yourself. These things I've been hardly listening from a few of my friends. They just ship the gun, why MBA, or what makes, they have this 15 minutes buffer before calling each student. So they try to read your essays and one particular line, any particular line. You might be saying that you worked in an NGO. So whole interview might be on this. How have you worked on this NGO? This might be your first introductory question as well. You just walk into the room, and before you you sit down also, this might be the question. Okay, what was your work in the NGO? If you get a hold of that anxiety, that will, set the tone of the interview also. Because once you get fumbled over there, you might not go ahead. I have not got the chance of, making myself introduced to them. So when they just asked me why in second MBA, that was my first question. So I asked them, can I have a minute or two to introduce myself? They really, jumped the gun saying that why an MBA? So I requested them for a 1 minute introduction. I settled down in that 1 minute speaking about myself, and what they really had in mind had gone down to the, the priority of asking questions came down, because I already introduced myself. Something new topics came out. I was able to, make myself comfortable. At the same time, replying to what they really asked in the questions. I was, able to set the tone of the interview. It went smooth, but it went for an hour. And they asked each and everything, what is there in the essay, what was there in the application, in a depth that you can't even imagine. If one line you mention, the whole interview will be based on that. They might not want to go and ask why an MBA, or that one line, they'll just go for an hour. Be very, very cautious while writing the essays. That's the only thing I can say.
What would be your tips or takeaways for the people who are embarking on this journey, who are just starting off with their MBA applications, or just the thought of, yes, I'll be applying to the ISB MBA in the next year? So what are your tips and strategies for them?
The first thing is be very genuine, because no application is ranked less, no application is ranked more. There are people with less GREs, less GMATs, but a better profile, better thing. So focus on your story. Be in a position that you can explain each and every line of the story in a very genuine way. That really helps. Just don't focus, he has a high GRE, so he'll get in. He has a better, he's coming from IIT, so definitely he's a gunshot. I've seen people from IIT Delhi also getting a straight reject. He has, some GMAT score of 780. He's a gold medalist from IIT Delhi, but a straight reject. So it doesn't make sense really. You might be from a tier 2, tier 3 college with an average GRE, but these people also have made it. So nothing like this is the standard criteria you should be focused on. Be in a position to explain each and everything that you write in your essays, and you will be in a good place. So the only thing I will be suggesting is, if you've targeted, if you make a list of your target schools, first make your whole research on that. Spend, maybe a couple of weeks on what really the school wants from an application, and make your story according to what this school really wants. If you make a bridge and be genuine, you'll be through. There's no one stopping you. But really, is the schools? What is the criteria of Harvard? What do they really search from an application? And Alum Connect, just go speak with 15 to 20 people. You'll be getting a better hold of it. So alums also will be playing an important role in what their experiences, what their background is, how are they connected with the school and everything. This is very important also.
Correct.
I give my whole credit to GOALisB and personally, ma'am, because I feel your patience is one of the best attribute a consultant should have. Because a candidate is always nervous, anxiety, everything he'll be having before making up for the school. But your patience really stands out. I'm truly indebted for that also. You helped me with a lot of research ideas. what should I focus on, what the school focuses on. You perfectly jotted out that bridge, and that is where I got my admit. Also, I'm very thankful to you. Also, if at all a candidate has to search about a consultant, he has to reach out to his or her clients. Like, how did the consultant help him? On what fronts the consultant helped him? Like, was it on the essay or the research? Because that is very crucial, and I'm like very thankful to GOALisB and see.
Thank you so much, and all the best for the future efforts and endeavors. Wish you all the
Thank you.
luck.
Thank you so much.